Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Sarge! Sarge! Happy Devils Thursday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report, episode 235. I'm your host, Sam Woo. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Bunker Studios in an undisclosed location in New Jersey. As we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. It was a happy Devils Thursday morning today. Anthony LaPena in the YouTube Live says, "How's it going, Mr. Woo? Greetings from Arizona." You know what? ASL question mark. Tell me where you're at. How old are you? And yeah, just tell me who you are. I want to know where your location is, because that's what we do here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. But Sergei Brylin has now been added, and it's now probably finalized the assistant coaches on Lindy Ruff's staff. Named assistant coach this morning, or officially. So Lindy Ruff is the head coach. Andrew Burnett, the associate coach. Ryan McGill, assistant coach. Chris Taylor, assistant coach. Sergei Brylin, assistant coach. And Dave Rogalski, goaltending coach, rounding up all the coaches coaching for your New Jersey Devils. Love this move for a variety of reasons. Number one, Sergei Brylin, probably the most underrated New Jersey Devil to ever put on the Devils uniform. Loyal to the New Jersey Devils franchise. Played many years. One of few that has 3 Stanley Cups with the New Jersey Devils. Always played just one of those interchangeable parts that you could put anywhere on your team. A utility player. But always played hard. With class. With a little shake and bake style sometimes. But always got the job done. Remember the Madden Pandolfo Brylin line? Remember how effective that was at just shutting down the top lines of the opposing team? And it was great. And now Sarge is in charge. And it's great to go back and connect with the past and bring the past to the present. We all thought that maybe Scott Stevens would have some kind of role here. Marty Brodeur, now with the New Jersey Devils for the last 4 or 5 years, having a hand on the business operation side of things. Not so sure if I really liked his jersey designing ability, but there are some Russian players on this team. Kyle in the YouTube Live is already saying, considering Sarge's relationship with Sharon Govich, I anticipate a big, huge, full season from him, meaning Sharon Govich, and he's on a contract year too. Well, he's kind of on a contract year. He's going to be an RFA after this year, Kyle, but you know what? Sarge is in charge. I love connecting the dots of the past and bringing them to the present. And Sergei Brylin earned his way here, being with the Utica Comets last season. And it's always good to see one of the most underappreciated players forever a New Jersey Devil. And we've had this debate here on the Let's Go Devils podcast. Should Sergei Brylin have his number retired? And that's another podcast for another day, but we've already done it before in the middle of the pandemic. But at least in the Ring of Honor, Sergei Brylin is probably, and I'm going to ask you Devils fans, wouldn't you say probably one of the more respected Devils, former Devils, when playing in his heyday? The most Devils. I mean, you can't talk to one Devils fan and have one bad thing to say about Sergei Brylin. And his story of playing hockey in the Soviet Union when he was a kid, you know, hearing some of the stories that he would tell, very similar to Alexander Mogilny years ago, that they were very poor out in Russia. And it was a very different world. And they used to reuse hockey tape. We take hockey tape for granted here in North America. But because supply was so low, they would actually reuse hockey tape to tape their socks, their sticks, and all that, which has always made Sergei Brylin one of the more humble players. And we shouldn't even take away the fact that he was actually a very good player. Very good player. Remember his rookie season? Scoring in the Stanley Cup Finals against the Detroit Red Wings? Anthony saying in the YouTube Live, I like the signing of Sarge. I think he's going to bring a lot to the young guys on the team, and also like him. He was on the ice throughout his career. Myself, I think the signing was a good one. I think it's a great signing. And you know what? I'm going to reach out and see if we can get Sergei Brylin here on the Let's Go Devils podcast very soon as assistant coach. We did that with Mark Recchi a couple of years ago. He was gracious enough to give us his time, some of his insight. Speaking of Mark Recchi, already making some comments to Boston Hockey Now, saying that Pavel Zacha is better than Eric Holla. Yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious. We all know that. But this wasn't for a one-for-one trade. This was really to shed some salary and just cut ties with Pavel Zacha, 6th overall pick with the New Jersey Devils in 2015. This was more of getting a role player and letting Pavel Zacha have a change of scenery, because either way, it wasn't really working out here in New Jersey, and he was going to get more expensive while the Devils would have to pay for more players. When Palat came, the trade for John Marino, the salary cap started to get eaten up, folks. You have to start paying your players like Jesper Bratt and others. But it's all starting to come together. It's all starting to come together. New Jersey Devils fans, I think this is going to be the beginning of the end of the terrible Devils. I think this is where it's going to just start to plateau, flatten, and then the Devils are going to be on the up and up. Been through a lot of roller coaster rides with Ray Shiro's regime, the start of Tom Fitzgerald's regime, but the rebuild 2.0 under Fitzgerald looks a lot more promising than the one with Ray Shiro. Not to fault Ray Shiro, he had more to deal with. Completely overhauling the scouting, the analytics, the culture. That was really a one-man show for many years, almost 3 decades under Lou Lamoriello. In fairness to Lou, he brought 3 cups and many winning seasons. But things needed to change. And it's been a painful change. It's been very painful to go through this rebuild 1.0 and 2.0. But it's all coming around right now. Sarge is now in charge. Sergei Brylin is now an assistant coach of the New Jersey Devils. Love the move from a sentimental standpoint. Love the move because I think that he can offer a lot. And don't forget about Shakir Mohammadulin, who is back in the KHL. This could be kind of a setup for the future when he does come back to North America as his entry-level contract. The clock is ticking. Maybe he'll come back. We shall see. World Juniors, well, Team Chechia, I think that's how you pronounce it, stunned Team USA. Team USA was rolling, but Luke Hughes got hurt. Tried to give it a go, got hurt. Luke Hughes had a fantastic tournament. But what about Peter Hauser? Is Peter Hauser going to be the next Jesper Bratt late round pick European player? Scoring the go-ahead goal against Team USA for his home country? I'd start looking at Peter Hauser right now. He could be a hidden gem, but we're not sure right now. But we shall see. Zach Stevenson on the YouTube Live with the great looking coaching staff being formed. Exciting prospect pool, and our core guys like Hauser, Hughes, and Bratt, who isn't ready for October. LGD. LGD all the way, baby. Sarge is now in charge. Shane Van Sickles chiming in. Congratulations to Sarge. He's been with this team for a long time. He's been always one of my favorites. You know what's the best thing? The best quality of Sergei Brylin? Aside from he's a humble player, humble guy, just does his job. His loyalty to this organization, New Jersey Devils, has been paramount. Loyalty is such a rare commodity in today's age. And when you have it, embrace it. And maybe that's what's going to get the Devils going. Somebody from the past who has won 3 Stanley Cups with a Devils uniform on. Again, do I think that Sergei Brylin should have his number retired? I would give it a very hard consideration. Some would say John McLean. But I say Sergei Brylin before John McLean. 3 Stanley Cups, folks. Who was the one that was shutting down, helping his team shutting down the opponent? Stride for stride, going against the elite, night in and night out. For many years wearing the Devils uniform. 2-way player. Can put the puck in the net. Maybe not as much as Brian Giunta or Alexander McGillney or Patrick Elias. But boy, can he play defense. And he wasn't a particularly a big guy. He was one of those scrappy players. The underdog is what they would say. Sergei Brylin, he had everything as a player. He was a hockey player. And it didn't matter who was on the ice. As long as Sergei Brylin was out there, you're going to be fine. He just gets the job done. And that's what we want this talented Devils team to do. Get the job done, folks. Get it done. Let's not waste our time now. See, Craig Best is on the Facebook Live. I don't see any Facebook Live chatter unless there's something wrong with my app. But you've been very chatty, YouTube Live. Now I see some reminiscing that goal in Game 4, 1995, Shane Van Sickle. Oh, yeah, where he just kicks his skate up high, swings his leg around like, yoo-hoo, we're going to win this one. I also like Jay Pandolfo back in the day as well. He was a Sergei Brylin type. Now the head coach of Boston University's team, the Terriers, were his alma mater, I believe. Jay Pandolfo, John Madden, he's been around coaching other teams. Was hoping he would come back to New Jersey. Come on, Marty. Why don't you bring the band back together? Mercer can be like Sarge, but with more offense. Not so sure about that, Kyle. I just think they're just two different types of players. But that's interesting. Not going to knock it. Nate Milbank says Sarge was one of those players who was never going to be an all-star, but always had a major presence on the ice and in the locker room. Remember when, Sergei Brylin, I believe he played on like a really bad knee injury, but you never heard how he played through the pain. Because I remember one time, like his knee was like on a couple threads, but he still played. But Sergei Brylin, just a quiet warrior he was for the New Jersey Devils. Just great to see him as an assistant coach under Lindy Ruff, which I think the coaching staff has been revamped. It's been well thought out. And no holdovers from last season. It's a very nice look. Devils are spending money up to the cap right now. You have to feel excited about this team. Now, I'm going to warn you, you may not get the results right away. But the goal here is to be more consistent than last season and be relevant by the end of the season, the regular season, that is. Just a reminder, tomorrow, special State of the Fan address, special podcast just for you, a Friday night thriller. Nick Villano, yes, that Nick Villano of pucksandpitchforks.com, and I coming into the virtual studio, the Primetime Radio Studios, the one and only from MSG Networks and former Devils captain, good friend of the podcast, Bryce Salvador will be on. We're going to be chatting. I've got some questions about Bill Spaulding. Has he met him yet? Has he talked to him yet? The MSG Networks crew looks to be awesome for next season. Dano's got his new partner. Erica should be back with Bryce. We got one of the best crews in all sports, and that's my opinion. Thank you all those for tuning in on this Thursday night. I got a long day tomorrow. We're going to try to make this podcast happen because Nick Villano yesterday had some technical difficulties, so we're going to work on it throughout the night tonight so we can give you the best Devils coverage that we can. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you enjoy your commute tomorrow. For your morning or afternoon commute, knowing that there's going to be a live podcast, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Friday night, here on the Let's Go Devils podcast, Dated Fan Address, presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. You know it, I know it. It's going to be a fun time. I want to ask Bryce what his thoughts are. Sergei Brylin coming back to the New Jersey Devils. Sarge! Sarge! This is the Will Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.